and welcome to Tiny Table Talk for the Challenge World Championship Episode 3. We're going to be talking about Jonna's decision. We're going to get into the MVPs and the LVPs from this past week, as well as some comments from my review and recaps comment section. So, without further ado, let's jump in, starting with... So going through the comments in my review and recap from this past week, I think a lot of people are upset with Jonna making her move to send in KellyAnne and Tristan. Now, after listening to both Jonna's podcast of episode 2 and now listening to KellyAnne's podcast of episode 3, I think I could see both sides of why Jonna should have sent in KellyAnne and Tristan and why she shouldn't have sent in KellyAnne and Tristan. But at the end of the day, I don't think it was that bad of a move. Now, before anybody goes to the comment section telling me how wrong of a move it was and how wrong I am, I do want to throw this out there. I think Jonna was in the wrong, 100% in the wrong, having that conversation with KellyAnne, apologizing, saying she wants to work with her, wants to have an alliance with her, mere hours before going to the elimination. If you have that conversation, there's no way you can double back and then think you can do damage control coming back into the challenge house. Why I don't think it was strategically the worst move to make for Jonna to send in KellyAnne was for the fact that I think Jonna is trying to think of the long term, and if there's so many people, especially the USA contestants of Tori and Casey, coming to Jonna wanting to work with her and kind of throwing KellyAnne under the bus, saying this is why you should throw her in. I think Jonna is looking at this as a possible business possible business venture / alliance that maybe her and Grant could have the Australian contestants as well as maybe partner up with the Challenge US. So sending in KellyAnne could be a play of goodwill and showing her that I'm willing to play ball. I'm willing to do what you guys want me to do if you're going to keep me safe and I'll keep y'all safe. You know? Also, KellyAnne and Tristan did not do very well in their first paired daily challenge. Tristan didn't do well at all in the qualifier. So when thinking about, okay, who will most likely win upcoming daily challenges, it's probably the quote-unquote stronger teams of the US contestants, as they have stronger numbers as well as they have really strong competitors on their side. And if I decide to put my neck out there for KellyAnne and Tristan, who kind of floundered in the first couple of competitions, that's not going to bode well for me if I decide that I'm going to buck against the bigger alliance and possibly the stronger contestants. I think looking at it that way, the strategy of Jonna wanting to send in KellyAnne makes sense. What doesn't make sense is Jonna having that conversation with KellyAnne, reassuring her that she wants to be friends with her, that she wants to work with her and be in alliance with her. To me, that is completely the wrong move, because now you look absolutely untrustworthy. KellyAnne could be like, not only were we somewhat best friends, but we also had a conversation a couple of hours before going to the elimination where she said I was 100% safe. And if she's going to tell me, somebody that she deemed a friend, that they are safe hours before, what's she going to do to somebody who she doesn't really even know? If Jonna was a bit more upfront, honest in her thought process of not knowing exactly what she wanted to do, she should have just done it. She should have told KellyAnne, look, I know we're friends, I want to stay friends, but there's a lot going into this decision, as well as there's a couple of people from other different teams telling me that I should put you in. Of course, she wouldn't like that conversation of Jonna being a little bit more indecisive, especially as they are friends, but she would be able to understand a lot more. And I think she would have much rather have liked the honesty than what now looks like lip service and a flat out lie. I don't think people are willing to trust Jonna after this point, as well as Jonna and Grant won. You know, they're going to be looked at as a very strong team, and winning the first daily challenge can put a target on your back. So if this was the wrong move, and Jonna doesn't have as strong alliance members heading forward into the game, that could spell disaster for her and Grant moving forward, you know? Thinking back to All-Stars, I don't think Jonna was winning a ton of daily challenges, at least early on in those seasons. KellyAnne was talking about Jonna riding the fence and playing the game in the middle down the line in All-Stars, which now coming into this season, having to make a decision right off the bat while also trying to get to know all the players that she's never played with, as well as catching up with other players that she has played with in the past, but maybe not has played in quite a long time, that now she has to make a decision on who is she going to work with, who is she not going to work with, when back in All-Stars, she was able to ride the fence the whole time, playing both sides, and get to the finals. Winning at all, especially the first challenge, you have to stake a claim in the game. Looking back at that elimination, I don't know if she would have really gotten out of doing any sort of damage control at the end of this, because Nelson and Huhui were so bad that even sending in Benha and Jody, I think it could have been maybe closer, as maybe Benha and Jody wouldn't have been able to work as well as Tristan and KellyAnne would have. I think Jody and Benha maybe could have won, come back into the game, and would have been just as annoyed with Jonna. But at that same time, you keep your word to KellyAnne, you have that friendship, you show everybody that we had that conversation, I'm gonna look out for her, you can trust my word. I think it's gonna be very, very interesting to see what's gonna happen, how this game is gonna play out, but we're gonna have to wait and see what's going to happen. But what do you think about Jonna's decision? Let me know down in the comment section below. Do you think that was the worst decision, or do you think that it was made worse because of that conversation that she had with KellyAnne a few hours before heading to the elimination? Let me know anything and everything down in the comment section below. All right, now let's get to the MVPs from this past week. And I mean, it's no surprise. I think it has to be KellyAnne and Tristan getting the MVPs of the week. They went into the elimination. They were sort of blindsided because I think that they felt reassured and guaranteed that they weren't going to be sent into eliminations, but they were able to focus, they were able to stay calm, they were able to take care of business, work well with each other, which we couldn't have said when watching the first daily challenge in the chain game. So I thought they worked well with each other, they were complimenting each other, even though Tristan was thinking that I have to be the calm one and I'm a little bit stressful, but I think that both of them have been able to communicate, have conversations with each other. At least they're not fighting with each other. I have to give the MVPs of the week to KellyAnne and Tristan. Now, the LVPs of this past week, I hate to say it, but Nelson and Huhui just did really, really poorly. I really don't want to give them the LVP award because they were eliminated, so it's kind of like just piling on them as they had a really, really bad performance in the elimination. So I am going to say that they do get the award, but I do want to add somebody else in here, and that is Jonna. I love Jonna. I just think it was a really bad move to have that conversation reassuring KellyAnne and then deciding to go back on your word. I understand that the game is always changing. The game is always throwing information at you, and you have to figure out what to do with that information and how it can pertain to your game. It just was a really, really bad move because not only did you go back on your word with KellyAnne, but it's going to be so difficult for people to now trust you with what KellyAnne is going to say, the conversation that you had with her, and then everybody knows that you were friends coming into this game. Luckily, Grant and Jonna are a really, really strong team. I just think that they possibly made a really bad move. They tripped up. They stumbled out the gate with this first play, when they could have been upfront and honest with everybody involved, saying, you're going in, you're safe, that's it, I've made my decision, let's go, instead of kind of getting swayed with the wind and thinking, I just did a really great thing having that conversation, but now I have to go back on it, and now I'm going to go back on my word. It's going to be very interesting to see how this is going to play out, but those are my picks for MVP and LVPs. What about you? Do you agree with my picks, or do you have different picks in mind? Let me know down in the comment section below. Now let's get to some comments from my Thursday's review and recap, and the first comment comes from Chris, who says, this episode could have been an email. Touche. I think that there has been some big setup. I think they needed this episode to maybe like get a little bit more into the background of what's to come this season, and maybe hopefully that this is the calm before the storm. I'm kind of looking at it now, looking back on this episode. Maybe it is the calm before the storm, because after looking at the promo trailer again, after watching and doing a breakdown of the trailer at the end of episode 1, I think that we're in for a huge amount of drama in the game. It's going to get intense, I think. And so maybe they needed to have this episode to kind of get back on track, hit that 12 episode mark with all the eliminations. Maybe they were able to right the ship a little bit moving forward, and we're going to get all the drama, all the competitions that we have become accustomed to. And so I'm looking at it like it's the calm before the storm. But I don't disagree with you that this could have been an email. RJ Life's Good comes in with a comment saying, this episode was full of fluff in my opinion. It wasn't a bad episode. I just couldn't believe it was over. Hate to see Nelson leave, but it was inevitable. Also agree with you that it wasn't bad. It really wasn't bad. I'm still very much looking forward to and very invested into this season. But I just think that this is the calm before the storm. I'm ready. I'm ready for the drama. They have laid a big foundation for the upcoming drama in this season, and I'm ready for it. I'm excited. You have built it up, you have set it up, and I'm ready to experience it, So I'm ready for next week. Next comment comes from Jess Kroll, who says, in that little 3-minute cleaning tutorial, Ben showed more personality than he showed in all of Challenge USA, and more personality than Casey has shown in her entire Challenge career. I know I was a little kind of like sarcastic about the Ben cleaning segment. I did enjoy it, and I do relate to it, because I always thought, like, growing up, if I were to do like a Big Brother or a reality show or the Challenge, I would be that person that has to clean everything. Like, I hate dishes just being put out there and just sitting out there, sitting in the sink, just dirty. I'm that kind of person. I will say that Joss cleaning was a little bit more eye candy than, say, Ben cleaning. But I do appreciate getting a little bit of the personality edit. The Blurred Vision comes in with a comment saying, I just love that the legends are going to be forced to send each other in. This season is unique because they can't hide behind the vet status anymore. Like, they're going to have to keep up with MVPs, because people like Sarah and Danny, even Ben, play to win and have no problem taking big shots. This is blissful. I do love the setup. This is going to get messy, and I'm looking forward to it. And it's going to get messy sooner rather than later, because there's only a handful of people that aren't as connected as, say, the other players of Tori, Jordan, and Bananas, who have done multiple seasons together, pretty recent seasons. But I do want to say that I am very, very happy for the variety of players. We are getting some drama kicked off by players that have been mainly from the All-Stars, and having them in the game mixed in with some of the reoccurring characters and the comeback players is just going to allow for this like bubbling drama to start overflowing very, very soon. And if we just had like a whole bunch of players from the previous season doing this one, I think it would have been a lot more boring. EdgyMao53 says, guys, I didn't hear Danny mention his wife. I didn't either. Danny is talking about the game, relationships inside the game, and he did not mention Kiki or even Kiki inside the season. I was ready to start a Kiki counter this season, but episode 3, there was no mention of Kiki at all. Brian Smith comes in with a comment saying, Danny is talking about getting out champions while he is connected to a champion. Seems like that is against his best interest. I don't think Danny necessarily wants to target champions, but he wants to be able to know that Tori has their best interest at heart and not thinking about all of her relationships from the prior MTV seasons. Instead of the thought process being like, I've done X amount of seasons with this person on different TV shows, on a different challenge, that plays into a factor more so than what's happening in this specific game, that it could cost them their game. Tori is thinking about next season, Challenge 39 and 40 and 41, and she's thinking about way down the line instead of this game where Danny is, you're not promised another season, Danny is thinking, I'm not promised another season. I'm not promised Challenge 39. I'm not promised Challenge 40. I'm playing the Challenge World Championship, and that money is right here, right now. Daniel comes up with a comment saying, very surprised Jonna blatantly lied to KellyAnne for absolutely no reason. She doesn't benefit at all from lying hours before the elimination, and now she shows the rest of the house she'll lie straight to your face if she could do it to a friend. That's the perfect word for it. It's unnecessary. You don't need to do that. At least be truthful and upfront, even if you're saying, I don't know. KellyAnne said, both on the podcast and in the episode, that she doesn't want her friends to forfeit their game or put themselves in jeopardy in the game for her. So if Jonna kind of laid it out there, I think it would have been way better for her game and even salvage this friendship with KellyAnne if she just was truthful and honest with her thought process than having that conversation way too early when I don't think she was fully made up her mind about what she really wanted to do and who she wanted to send into elimination. Sylvia comes in with a comment saying, I love Jonna, same here, but this was definitely not the time to make that move. KellyAnne was for sure winning, and she just showed everyone what she'd do to a friend before solidifying any connections. I'm excited for this side of KellyAnne, and the preview looked great. I'm so excited. I know that there was some criticism about some of the cast members deemed quote-unquote MTV legends, but KellyAnne being on this cast, I feel is going to give us so much drama that we've been wanting to see in the game and what has been missing from the game. They're starting some drama in between each other, which then will spread to the whole house. And then you have the global MVPs that will probably start some drama with each other as well. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. Lauren K comes up with a comment saying, Amber is right. Who's going to trust Jonna now that she lied to, blindsided, and gaslit KellyAnne, her supposed best friend? And that's something that I was nervous about because Amber always sees the good in people, and I'm sure she likes Jonna as a person, but losing a person that maybe was playing the middle to not be trusting and on your side is going to be a big hit, especially for somebody who is in your team country's like alliance almost with Amber and Troy. Now Amber is being like, I don't think we can trust Jonna, and maybe that plays a factor later down the line as well. Dre B comes in with a comment saying, if Corey is a true friend, he'd call up Nelson to meet him in the park and have Nelson push his kids on the swings to teach him some physics. Oh man. To me, that is a gold star comment. And the final comment comes from Ed, who says, has anyone heard about a recent car accident involving Nelson? There was a video of it online where he is being pulled from the car that's on fire. On his IG page, he shows his injuries. Looks very serious. It's very, very serious. I was very shocked when this was put up in my Discord. And I just want to say much love, prayers, good vibes going out to Nelson. And I'm hoping for a very quick recovery for him. If you would like to go donate to the GoFundMe to help Nelson recover, there's a link down in the description below. It is very, very serious. And I just hope that Nelson is able to recover, that he is going to be all good. I'm so thankful that he is alive, that there was great people there to act quickly, to be there for him, get him out of that wreck, and get him help as soon as possible. So I'm really, really appreciative to everybody who was involved, KJ Osborne, everybody involved. But that is it for this week's Tiny Table Talk. What do you think about this episode? Let me know down in the comment section below. Are you excited for next episode? Do you think we'll be back on track having a full episode of content with all the competition as well as drama for next episode moving forward? I think so, but that's very, very hopeful. Let me know down in the comment section below. Who are you rooting for? Who are you rooting against? What do you think is going to happen between Jonna and KellyAnne next week? Let me know anything and everything down in the comment section below. I want to give a special shout out, thank you to everyone who supports me over at patreon.com/angelcakevids. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to everyone who's watching this video up to this point. I'll be back really, really soon with more Challenge World Championship content, more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.